As you may or may not know, it is currently the month of February, or as I like to call it, the love month, because you know, Valentine's Day is in February. That's really the only reason I call it the love month. I thought, you know, since the occasion is right, and since it is the love month, I should regale you all with the numerous tales of how I have just absolutely embarrassed myself, all in the pursuit of love. I thought, you know, it seemed appropriate. It's February, it's the love month. Valentine's Day is 2 days away, actually. Today is Wednesday the 12th. It's got me thinking about all of my, I guess you could say, romantic shortcomings, and I'm kind of wondering where to start. You know, there's been a lot that I've done that's just maximum cringe, and you know, I'm finding it hard to find a jumping off point. You know what, why don't we just start with middle school? That's when people start getting crushes and stuff. So middle school, I was, well, you know, middle school aged, and my 7th grade year, I had a crush on this one boy. None of these people are going to be named, obviously, because yikes. We'll call him Jethro. That's very far from his actual name. But I had a crush on this one kid named Jethro. We eventually ended up dating. I'm not really going to call it full-on dating because, well, we never went on any dates, and we never saw each other outside of school. And I don't know how common that is for, like, say, a middle school relationship. Maybe that was just par for the course at the time, but I don't know, I thought it was maybe a little odd that we didn't. Well, in hindsight, I thought it was odd. In actuality, you know, I thought it was normal because, I mean, me at that time, I saw very few people outside of school, and I mean, I wasn't really concerned with doing that in the first place, so I don't know. Me and this Jethro fella dated for, might have been like a month, less than a month. The only really notable thing about that is, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of cringe associated with that other than, you know, the person that I was quote unquote dating. Well, number one, this guy had like just recently broke up with like someone that I knew, and so, you know, actually my crush on this fellow caused me a lot of resentment towards this girl, which was totally unwarranted because she was a nice person. Like, I had no reason not to like her. Literally no reason not to like her, other than she was dating the guy that I wanted to date. Eventually Jethro broke up with her, and I had the golden opportunity to get with him, and so I did. I mean, the only really spectacular thing about that is that we would text and sit next to each other in class, and that was about it. But I would learn later that this guy had some major anger issues, which I am kind of glad I didn't stick around for that long, because who knows what he would have done to me. That sounds really extreme, but yeah. And about Jethro, let's see, we broke up. Well, I mean, like I said, it only lasted like a month. So the way our middle school worked, it was 7th and 8th grade in one like school building. And once we like moved on to the 8th grade, he went to a different school, so I just never saw him. Well, I did see him again. I saw him maybe the first couple of weeks of my freshman year of high school. I didn't recognize him because, well, he gained a lot of weight, and I just legit did not know it was him until he like rolled up next to me. And the way I am with strangers, and I don't know how this is going to sound, but like, if a stranger just like, you know, rolls up on me, and there's a distinct difference between walking up to someone and rolling up on them. If you walk up to someone, you know, it's very casual. You just literally just walk up to them, that's it. But if you roll up on someone, you're like, you know, clearly trying to put the moves on them. And I've had that happen a couple of times, and I did not like it any of the times, and I did not like it this time. So this guy rolls up on me, and I literally do not know who it is. Like, I put 2 and 2 together after you left, but at this point I thought, okay, there's a stranger walking up to me, no thank you, goodbye, and I walked away. And that was that. After that, I mean, I didn't really see him again. He didn't go to high school with us. Like, he was there, but it was only for like a couple of weeks. And then he left, so I don't know what happened to him. Like, I literally haven't seen him since that day, for better or worse. Another thing about this guy, he wasn't a very nice person. I remember, like, after we had broken up for the final time. Apparently he figured out that I had developed a crush on someone else. I guess I moved on really quickly, and so he spoofed his number. And the way he did that, which like I figured it out, is that there's these like free text applications where they give you a number, and I probably should have known because the area code was not the same as our area code. But you know, let's see, how old am I? I'm like 12 and incredibly stupid, so you know, I didn't know that. And so he texted me pretending to be the new guy that I have a crush on, who we'll call Philip. We'll call him Philip. He pretends to be that guy, but eventually he slips up because he had this really weird, specific way of texting that you would know it was him, that it was Jethro. And he had a little slip up, and then I realized that it wasn't the guy that I had a crush on, but it was my ex-boyfriend. And I got pretty upset at that. I didn't cry. I am proud of myself for that fact. I did not cry, and so that was that with that. I forgot his name already. Oh yeah, Philip. There's not really a whole lot to say with him. I mean, the cringe is pretty light there. Other than that, I think it was Valentine's Day. I can't remember. It might have been Valentine's Day, but in art class, I made him like a little paper flower, and he took it and he was pretty nice about it. There's not really anything I could say that was like bad about Philip. I should probably point out that at this time, let's see, I'm 12. I probably looked about 10 years old when I was 12. I mean, even now, as a fully grown 20-year-old, I still get looked at like I'm a 14-year-old or something. So I can only imagine that at 12 I looked even younger than 12, which probably had something to do with why my feelings weren't reciprocated, because at this time, a very awkward time of, let's see, being 12 to 13, you know, some people start developing faster than others, and let's just say I was a little bit behind, or at least I felt I was behind. Maybe I wasn't behind, but I definitely felt that I was behind. And you know, there are other more woman-shaped people out there, and I was not one of them. I guess that had something to do with it, I don't know. After that is the least pleasing memory from, I'll say, middle to high school. I developed a crush on a new guy, and we'll call him Steven. Why not? We're going to go with generic names. I mean, it feels right. So the Steven character I developed a crush on when I was about, let's see, in the 8th grade. I don't know what age I was, probably just turned 12 maybe, who knows. It was beginning-ish of 8th grade. And I know, like, being 12 in the 8th grade is kind of young, but I had an early or late birthday, I don't know. Whichever one makes you like the youngest in the class. I was one of the youngest in my class, and so as such, I was 12 when I entered the 8th grade. And I say, hey, this, what was his name? I forgot his fake name, oh god. Steven, right? I think it was Steven. We're gonna go with Steven. Actually, we're not gonna go with Steven because that reminds me of Steven Universe, and I don't like that show. So we're gonna go with Terry. Sure, why not? Terry, new name. I developed a crush on him, 8th grade, and I didn't stop having a crush on him until I graduated high school, which is a really long time, which is just way too long. It's too long. It was entirely too long. Nothing particularly weird happened 8th grade year, and maybe it did, and I'm just like forgetting it, just purged the memory from my mind. It has been 8 years since 2012, so you know, perhaps my brain just didn't catalog it. It's possible, but I can't really remember anything significant. The only thing I do remember, since it is almost Valentine's Day, is that Valentine's Day, my freshman year of high school, I dressed up really nice. And you know, my way of dressing up nice was basically just dressing up like a flight attendant. I wore this navy blue pencil skirt back when I had the ability to do so. I do not anymore. I wore this white button-down shirt, this navy blue blazer, and this pink infinity scarf. And I had my mom curl my hair so that, you know, I had nice little curls in my hair, and I went to school like that. I mean, I got compliments on it. People told me I looked nice. The only person's compliment that I wanted was Terry's. I I keep forgetting the fake names. And so what I did that day was I had a number of classes with him, maybe more than one, I can't remember. It was at least one, and it was English class. And in this class, we didn't really have assigned seats, but you know how it is when you sit somewhere like the first day of class and you just keep sitting there and it's understood to be your seat. That's basically how it was. And so I sat across the class from him, but today I wanted to sit next to him. So I hatched a plan to come to class really early, like noon down the hallway to get to class as fast as I could, to be the first person to sit in the seat that was next to Terry's. And to my dismay, the girl who was already sitting there, who also happened to be named Arin, so there's two of us, she didn't like that at all. Like, she really wanted her seat back. And so now everyone's in class, and the other Arin is getting pretty upset with me for stealing her seat. Well, I'm just trying to hold it together, you know, outwill her to take her seat, and it didn't end up working. The teacher made me go back to my own seat, and it was rather embarrassing, if I must say so. My plan was foiled. Yeah, like I said, this Terry crush lasted a really long time, and I don't know how much information I'm willing to give away, because there's one thing that happened that is like legitimately really embarrassing. And I don't know if I should say it or not. I wouldn't classify this as embarrassing. It's just a little personal, but also it's been, let's see, 3 to 4 years since this happened, and I'm probably never gonna see this guy again, if I'm lucky. I'm probably never gonna see this guy again. But like, do I want people knowing this? I guess for content purposes, I will. I really hope nobody that I know watches this. I mean, the only person who really knows the whole story is my mom. But nobody watches these videos, so I guess I will tell it. So I was pretty... Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention was that 4 of the 5 years that I had a massive crush on Terry, he had a girlfriend, and his girlfriend did not like me because I had a crush on him, you know? So that happened. Eventually they broke up. For what reason? I don't know. I don't particularly care. I was just happy that he was single and now I could scoop him up, and of course that never ended up happening, so there you go. But my senior year, ooh, this is ultimate cringe. I'm gonna put a high level cringe warning here because this is just super cringe, and I really hope my roommates can't hear me. I think my suite mate's not here, I don't know. This is how apprehensive I am to tell the story, but I feel like I gotta tell someone. It might as well be, you know, YouTube at large. But anyways, here it is. I had confessed, I'm gonna sanitize it. I had confessed my physical feelings for Terry, and he capitulated to those feelings because of course he did. He's a 17, 18-year-old guy. Okay, I don't want to say that's all I think about because that's sexist, but it's not a far-fetched idea. And so in order to, you know, go through with this plan that we had, I had to get on some medication that contains hormones. I got on birth control for him. That's really all there is to say about it. And the whole thing, I'm sure was just wacky for my mom because the day it happened, so like I told him, hey, I want to do this. And he said, okay. Are you on meds? And I'm like, no. And he says, okay, get on meds first, and then we can. And I'm like, bet. So, literally the next morning, I wake up super early, around the time my mom would be up. So she wakes up at like 5, because she worked at this time. But I got out of bed at like 5:30. I walked up to my mom, who was sitting on the couch, watching the news with some coffee, you know, mom stuff. And I told her what happened the previous day and that I wanted to go to the doctor, and she took it pretty well actually. You know, she didn't yell at me or call me derogatory names. She was like, you know, I'm glad you came to me first, but you know, that's kind of a lot. You know? And so, you know, Thanksgiving break I went to the doctor and I got on birth control, and I'm still on it 4 years later. Hooray. So that happened. Oh, and we never ended up doing it. So it's kind of a waste. but like, I'm on it now. What are you gonna do? And then there's a whole prom situation. I did end up going to my high school prom. I spent a lot of money on prom preparations and I was extremely bored, and also I went alone because if I couldn't go with Terry, I didn't want to go with anyone else. I mean, prom ended up being okay. You know, I'm not really big into dances or like parties or things like that, but prom, it had its ups and downs. Its down being that I was extremely bored the whole time, and that I was being followed by a photographer from like the time I went to the hair salon to the time that I arrived at prom, which I didn't really like. My mom, I swear to God, she insisted on hiring a photographer and getting like an entire book made. I would have been fine with one picture. She had to get all of the pictures. Which, I mean, hey, maybe that's like some foresight on her part, because at this rate I'm never getting married, so like maybe this was her version of my wedding, except it was just me. It was weird. So, you know, I got all dolled up and went to prom alone, and then I went home and I took my makeup off and I went to bed, and I thought, wow, that was a waste of money. Prom is kind of a waste of money though, like, I'm not gonna lie. It's a racket. Prom is a racket. It's like there's prom and then there's weddings, and there's the same type of person who will grift you for your wedding, will also grift you for your kids' proms. So watch out for those people. And then, you know, that really kind of concluded senior year. And, you know, all of that was embarrassing enough, but we haven't even gotten to college yet. And now that it is the year of our Lord 2020, I'm not gonna say that I've given up on looking for love. It's just that I've kind of deprioritized it. I don't really care that much anymore, honestly. You know, sometimes I care a lot, sometimes I don't care. And you know, Valentine's Day is, what, 2 days from now? And I will be doing nothing. Well, it's a Friday. I'll wash my clothes, because I wash my clothes on Friday. And I might take a nap. And I don't know, I might do some homework. That sounds great. Is that just me being salty because I don't have a Valentine's Day? Not really. Honestly, I'm pretty okay with being alone now. Like, I've been alone my entire life, so like, really not that bad. I can do whatever I want, I guess. I mean, that's something that cuffed people have a problem with, is that they can't do anything they want. They have to check with their significant other first. And I don't know how correct that is. Obviously, I've never been in a relationship, duh. So I know they might be right that single life is better than cuffed life. I mean, I still would like to get married at some point, I guess. It's just not, you know, on top of my list of priorities. I can't say the same for some of the other girls here. It seems like some of these nice, young, respectable ladies at my institution of higher learning were born to be somebody's wife and mom, and I don't vibe with that. I just kind of want to be my own person, you know? If I never get married, well, I don't really have anything to say about that. I don't know. That's kind of a far off thing to think about. You know, the whole marriage thing and the whole dying alone thing. Yeah, I'm not really itching to get into a relationship at this very moment. It would be nice, but it's not a requirement. You know, I'm just kind of trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay off my student loans once I graduate in a semester. Yeah, that's kind of what's been on my mind right now. So if anyone asks if like I'm in a relationship, I'm going to tell them that I'm married to the money. However, nobody's asked, because nobody's wanted to know. So, or maybe they can just tell. Maybe the single emanates off of me like a stink. Or maybe I just actually stink, and that's why nobody's asking if I'm in a relationship. So, outro time. Twitter, Ko-fi. That's it. If you are cuffed on this Valentine's Day, I'll keep you in my prayers.